The contents of the lab report are meant for educational purposes only. They are not meant to be misconstrued as medical diagnosis or treatment advice.
That's right. Today on the lab report, Zack George.
The United Kingdom's fittest man.
Also an author and overall pretty cool dude.
The world of medicine can be challenging. Clinicians and patients are always looking for more options, more effective treatments, and in the end, more answers. Functional and integrative medicine focuses on addressing root causes of disease. Here at Genova Diagnostics, we've watched this field evolve and grow for over 35 years. We've not only adapted, we've led. Join us as we talk about functional medicine, laboratory testing, and optimizing health. Welcome to the Lab Report. I feel like I need to go on the record regarding steak. I do not put ketchup on my steak in reference to last episode.
What are you talking? I've seen you do it.
Lies!
Hello!
Hi, I'm Michael Chapman.
Hi, Patty Devers. How are you?
I'm doing great, except that I do not put ketchup on steak. It was a joke.
You wanted to clarify that? You wanted to make sure everyone knows
on the record
you don't have disgusting eating habits? I've seen your Instagram. Hi, everyone. This is a podcast brought to you by Genova Diagnostics. It's where we talk about things like specialty lab testing, functional medicine, integrative therapeutics, and the like.
Yeah. And if you're new to the show, welcome. If you are returning, then you get the references related to steak and ketchup. But thank you for coming back, and we hope that you'll go to iTunes or Spotify and maybe subscribe to the show, rate, review, leave us some stars.
That's right. And if you have additional feedback, you can send that to podcast@gdx.net. That's our email address.
It is. So, Michael, what do you put on steak?
It depends. Like, if I'm at home, I typically will put something like A1 on it, just because I really like A1.
Why is it called A1?
I have no idea.
Oh. Because it's A number one?
I don't know. Do we Google it?
Yeah.
I got it. All right, here we've got hold on, let me go back. No, caps lock? No,
does it matter? Does
it have to be cap?
This is why I'm the Googler.
And
You're
then
terrible at
the
this.
one is up here.
Never mind, I got it here.
All right, what do you got?
Well, A1 steak sauce was created sometime in the 1820s by Henderson William Brand, who was the chef to England's King George IV.
Wow.
I know. And the king was so pleased with the new sauce, he proclaimed it A number one, or A1 for short. So looks like I was right.
You had it. Very, very good. I did not expect that to be coming from the UK. I don't know. I think of like steaks and hamburgers as being, like totem American food.
Totally.
Yeah. But that's interesting because we also have another famous British George on the show today.
Yes, nice leap there. Today we have Zack George, who happens to be the UK's fittest man.
It makes me wonder, what must it be like to be named fittest man? Like, you must feel like Atlas. Ugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure.
No, I wasn't talking about the pressure. I mean, I think he could literally lift up the world.
Well, no doubt. And not only is he a brilliant athlete, but he's also an author and a speaker and just all-around great guy. So we're really excited to meet him.
Well, then let's meet him. So, Patty.
I know.
Do you know who we have?
I'm fangirling out.
I know you are. Let me tell you a little bit about who we have on, which is Zack George. Zack George is one of the world's top CrossFit athletes. He is a health and fitness influencer and author, and officially the UK's fittest man in 2020. Zack's story is one of dramatic change, resilience, and hard work. He opened his own commercial gym called CrossFit BFG in 2017 and created an online coaching program called Team Silverback to empower people across the world to realize the strength within. And we cannot say enough. Thank you for being here, Zack.
Thank you so much. That was a very good intro. Thank you.
Well, let's just start out by, why don't you tell us the personal journey of your transformation from a young, overweight, early teenager to now the UK's fittest man? What was the catalyst there?
Yeah, so when I was a kid, I was extremely different to how I was now. I would say I was very out of shape. I used to have McDonald's and KFC probably 4 or 5 times a week, big bags of Haribo every single day after school. Used to hate any sort of exercise. I'd always enjoyed playing sport and been a sporty kid. But if you tried to get me to do any sort of activity outside a sporting environment, I'd be like, nah, I just want to be sitting in the sofa eating my biscuits and chocolate. So I was extremely lazy kid, very self-conscious about my body, never used to like taking my top off, always very self-conscious about how I looked. And I remember, I think my parents always tried to get me to try and lose weight in a way not to kind of discourage me as a kid and not to basically say, come on, Zach, you need to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my dad tried several different attempts, but the one that really resonated with me was when I really wanted the PlayStation 2. And it was the brand new console at the time, and all my friends had it.
Right.
And my dad was like, right, let's make a deal. If we put a plan in place, maybe sort your diet out a little bit, get you training a little bit more in the week. If we lose some weight after the first month or two, then we'll go and buy a PlayStation 2.
Whoa.
So for me, I was like, wow, this is my chance to get this PlayStation 2. So yeah, it was fairly straightforward, really. Instead of having McDonald's 4 or 5 times a week, I'd have it maybe twice. I just basically cut out a lot of the junk food, try not to have sweets and chocolate every single day. And I didn't change my training regime too much. I just kept that pretty much the same as I was doing, just going to school, playing some sport. But then I just had less junk food, and obviously the weight dropped off. Felt really good about myself, and yeah, it was good to actually put my mind to something, try and set a goal and then achieve it. And after the month or two, I remember jumping on the scales. We'd lost some weight. We're doing the measurements, and yeah, I lost a few inches around my stomach, and I felt really good about myself. And my dad was like, right, okay, you've done really well, really proud of you. Let's go get your PlayStation 2. So we went to Toys R Us, which is a big shop in the UK. Not longer, it's not a shop anymore, but yeah, it was a big shop when you were a kid. It was like a kid's heaven when you walked in there.
Yeah.
Just so many toys and everything. It was amazing. So I remember walking in there, getting the PlayStation 2, getting a game, and yeah, and that was that. And that was like the first sort of stage to losing some weight. But I think the first real big change for me mentally was when we went to an Anthony Robertson seminar.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this was probably about 1.5 years after I first started to lose a little bit of weight. And it was a 3-day course. My dad sort of dragged the family along, and none of us wanted to go. And we were like, Dad, come on. I was like 15 at the time. I was like, well, I don't want to spend my weekend in the NEC. I don't know who this guy is. I'm not going to enjoy it. Sister and mum were pretty much the same. They're like, oh, Dudley, why don't you just go on your own? He's like, no, come on, you've got to come. It's going to be a really good weekend. And yeah, it was definitely a life-changing weekend. It was all about motivation, nutrition, kind of goal setting, just wanting more from your life than maybe you didn't know that you wanted. And yeah, it was an amazing weekend. And after that weekend, it was the first time where I wanted to get in shape for myself, and I didn't need any sort of external reward from anyone else. Nothing else was motivating me apart from wanting to do it for myself. So I think that was probably another massive change for me, was actually wanting to get in shape and be healthy for myself and not do it for anyone else.
Wow. What an incredible story. And so many things you can learn from that too. Mm-hmm. I think instigating PlayStations as part of public health policy might be interesting. And then also we're trying to get Tony Robbins on. So what a ringing endorsement. And we'll see if that's enough to bring him on. But
yeah, the irony of the PlayStation 2 losing weight, but then just sitting on your sofa playing the PlayStation 2 is kind of...
I was thinking that myself. Right. Yeah.
Well, tell us about your nickname Silverback. And your coaching program shares that name. So where did that name come from, Silverback?
So this came from one of my friends, Danny. He came to the CrossFit box, became a really good friend, and we just did a workout, so I was pretty pumped up. And he was standing behind me, and he's like, mate, your back looks like a silverback. And it kind of just stuck from there. And yeah, so it was just someone looking at my back and saying, wow, your back is huge. So, and it kind of just stuck. Yeah, and some of our groups of friends, we kind of, I don't know how it came about. We have different like animal names for a couple of our friends. Mm-hmm. So it kind of just fit really well with all the lads that I kind of hang around with. So yeah, that's how that came about.
Nice.
Well, we know you are a CrossFit big time athlete, and the craziness of this past year and a half has taught us all a bit that we need to be resilient, right? But recently you announced a setback and you needed to pull out of the 2021 CrossFit Games due to a hip injury. What's your plan moving forward with that?
Yeah, it was really frustrating, especially after last year with the pandemic, and obviously it was my first year I qualified for the Games and then having that spot taken away. So after last year, I was so determined to really make a big push this year. And then first stage of the season went okay with the Open. It was quite a relaxed start to the season. And then the second stage, I had the hip injury. And it was something that I was feeling building up over a couple of weeks, but it was only like a little niggle. So it wasn't anything that was stopping me training at all. Mm-hmm. And then, just pushed my body too much. And now it's become a bit of a serious thing where it's got to take about 2-3 months out. So, yeah, frustrating. But I always try to, for myself, I like to give this advice a lot to other people as well, is that if you have a setback, it's always an opportunity to turn that situation into a positive situation.
Mm-hmm.
So last year, me not going to the games allowed me to focus on a lot of things, and one of them was writing my first book. So that was where I wouldn't have probably achieved that if I was still in very serious competing mode. Same for this year. We've kind of got 4 or 5 months back of the year where I would have been so focused on training and so focused on getting to the games, where I may have turned down a lot of opportunities or not really pushed my career as much because I was so focused on training. So at the end of this year, I want to kind of look back in the year and be like, right, I've achieved so much where I wouldn't have achieved if I was still competing at the games. That kind of makes it worth it, but I can be like, right, that setback wasn't really a negative thing because it's allowed me to focus on so much other things within the year. So yeah, with any setback I get, I always try and turn it into a positive and achieve things that I wouldn't have achieved if I hadn't have had that setback.
Yeah, I think that's something a lot of people have learned in the past year, you know, just that stepping back and reassessing. So great.
Yeah, absolutely. And we definitely we're going to ask you about your book for sure in a second. It's so tricky, you know, especially somebody of your caliber of athleticism, like knowing how much rest is really needed to incorporate, especially when, you know, pushing and pushing and pushing. So like based on your experience, like how much rest and recovery do you recommend for people at that high level of performance?
Yeah, that's a good question. Everyone's very different. So when you get to the top athlete level, you have some people who train at high volume. So I train at particularly a high volume when I'm in peak physical position, like fitness, and then when I'm working towards competition. Whereas if you took an elite athlete who's also obviously a great athlete, but then if you put them on my program, they might find it too much volume. So I think it's a question it's very different. It's down to the person and down to how their body copes with different style of training. Like I said, for me, one program won't be suitable for every top athlete. Everyone's so different. Everyone has different demands. Some people are top athletes, but then also a father to like kids, so that'll make a big difference if they're not recovering as well. So yeah, there's so many factors that come into play depending on how much rest you need. But for me, I train twice a day for about 3.5 hours a day, and then I get about 9 hours of sleep a day. So for me, that's worked for me over the years. Whereas for someone else, that might be too much sleep or it might be too little sleep. So yeah, I think it's very much down to the person and who you are. And then you only find that out with the years of experience and kind of playing with different things and playing with different training regimes.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And I mean, in your experience, I have a feeling the answer is going to be it depends. But in your experience, where's the line between pushing through some pain and then overtraining? So how do you find that line?
Yeah, again, that's something that I would say you build up. I think if someone, like I said, if someone dove into my training regime right now, they would be like, wow, and they'll probably be in an overtraining state because it's just too much. So everyone's overtraining is slightly different. Everyone's got different thresholds. But for my training volume, I've built up that over 7 years. So my body's used to it. Whereas 7 years ago, if I went straight to this training regime, after 2 months, I'll be in overtraining state. But it's really easy to, not easy, but there's some telltale signs that if you're overtraining, and that's just if you're really fatigued, if you're getting lots of little niggles, lots of little injuries like regularly, if you feel like you've got no energy to train, your training sessions are really poor quality, that's probably a sign that you are overtraining and you need to kind of take a step back and you need to kind of have a bit of a rest. So the most important thing with overtraining is just listen to your body, and you can't ignore the signs that your body will give you, because it will always give you signs before normally something major happens. So yeah, you got to listen to your body and just be aware of how your body's feeling.
I just want to say I appreciate the use of the word niggle. It makes me
niggle.
Well, Zach, I mean, based on like everything that you've been through and what you've accomplished, like what advice would you give to people who are trying to figure out how to stay motivated? Like where's the drive come from? What keeps driving you, and how do you overcome some of those things when you feel like you maybe want to kind of take a day off or, you know, stop for a little while?
Yeah, I think there's a few things. One, the major one, you've got a goal set. I think that's such an important part of wanting to achieve anything in your career or in your fitness journey. You've got to sit down, put a plan in place, set some clear goals that you want to achieve. Set some goals that, I like to say, set goals that scare you. Try not to stay in your comfort zone. So set some big goals that you want to achieve, and they might take 6 months, a year, 2 years to achieve. Doesn't matter how long it takes, but put a big goal in place, put lots of little goals along the way in place, so that will keep you motivated. I think if you've got a big end goal like for me, when I started in CrossFit, my goal was get to the CrossFit Games. That was a 7-year journey to finally achieving that. And if I didn't have lots of little goals along the way, then you can easily get demotivated or sidetracked. So the main goal for me was qualify for the games, but then along that way it was win a small local comp. And then when I've done that, then it would be win a bigger European comp and then go to regional. So there's lots of little goals you're ticking off along the way to get to your main priority goal. I think that's really important to keep you motivated throughout your journey. Another key point is the people you surround yourself with. And I'm very fortunate I can have a lot of positive people around me that all want to see each other succeed. And I think that's such a powerful tool to have if you've got a really good community around you, that on the days where I don't feel like training, because you're not 100% positive and motivated every single day. There's days where I wake up and I just can't be bothered to train. I don't know what it is. I might have had some junk food the day before, or not had enough sleep, or just generally not feeling great that day. You've got to allow yourself to have those days and know that they're normal. And those are days that I rely on my tight-knit group around me. So like, come on, Zach, let's get in the gym. Let's have a really good session. We're all there for you. And then at the end of the session, I've had a great training session and I feel really good. So yeah, surrounding yourself with a community of positive people is definitely something that I'd highly recommend. And I said, you've got to allow yourself to have those days. I think a lot of people beat themselves up if they feel negative one day, or if they feel like they can't be bothered, or they feel like they've got to be 100% positive every single day. And that's not the case. You've got to allow yourself to have the days where you have the bad training sessions, or have the days where you're not feeling too good. So you have to take a little step back from your training that day. And just know that's part of the journey, really.
Right. Yeah. I like that. And, on this podcast, we're speaking to a lot of clinicians who are in sports medicine or who are treating athletes. And on this show, we talk a lot about the importance of diet and nutrition for anyone wanting to just optimize their health. What's your approach in general to diet or macronutrients?
Yeah, so for me, luckily, I've got a coach, MT Performance. He's called Mike. And he takes that pressure away from me having to worry about if I'm eating the right things, if I'm getting enough macros. We eat about 3,800 calories a day. He'll set all my macros out for me, all my fats, carbs, and protein. I'm very fortunate to have a sponsor who will send me food. So they're called the Good Prep, and they'll send me, it's roughly about 18 meals a week. And it makes me so easy because Mike will talk with them. They'll send me the right nutritional pack that I need. And it just makes it so easy for me. And I've literally just got to eat the food. And for me, even though I'm a top athlete, I really struggle with, if it's not prep for me, then I will go off the rails and eat all sorts. I'm not a fan of, I don't like cooking. I'm not a chef. I don't like preparing food. So luckily my girlfriend's a really good cook and she'll cook a lot of things. And then we have the Good Prep meals. And it makes such a big difference for performance. I always like a saying, you can never out-train a bad diet. And if your goals are just to lose weight or just to get healthier or to be a good athlete, nutrition is so important for achieving those goals. And if you don't take your nutrition seriously, then you're always going to be holding yourself back of what you're truly capable of. And anyone there who's listening who's not an elite athlete, you don't have to be as strict on your diet. Obviously, for me, it's really important because I want to get every single percent out of my body I can to try and get ahead of the game. Right. And nutrition, keeping that on point is going to give me an extra edge on someone else who's not really serious with their nutrition. But if you're just someone who likes going to the gym and just generally wants to be healthier, I always advise like an 80-20 split. So 80% of the time, be healthy with your food, make good choices. And then 20% of the week, so it might be a Saturday night or Sunday night, enjoy a takeaway, enjoy some chocolate. Don't feel guilty about it because you've got to have balance in life. And if you're super strict on your diet and you only maintain that for a month and then you go off the rails, it's not a good position to be in. So you're better to have a nice moderate balance and then maintain that all year round.
Right. That's good advice. That's good. Well, let's talk a little bit about your book. Your new book is called Start Where Others Stop. What does that phrase mean? And what can people expect when they read the book?
Yeah. So Start Where Others Stop is all about, I always want to break down the barriers that people put in place, or I hear a lot. So I always hear a lot of people say, I'm too unfit to start the gym, or I'm too unhealthy to start that journey, or I'm not good enough to go for that job promotion, or don't have enough time to go to the gym. And it's kind of trying to break all those barriers down, give people a plan and help them put a plan in place. So a lot of the books about goal setting, like we spoke about earlier, and putting a plan in place. So I want people to read the book and be like, right, I've been putting off that goal for so long because I might not have that inner confidence, or I'm just not got that inner motivation. And I'm hoping that they can read this book, find that inner confidence and motivation, and kind of break those barriers down and just put a plan in place and work towards that goal that they might have been putting off for so many years. And obviously, it's a book about my life, my backstory, and how I was an overweight kid to then becoming the UK's fittest man. But I wanted people to take away a tool from reading the book, and that tool is about plan setting and achieving goals. And yeah, we've had some great feedback already, and it's amazing to hear that people are already read the book and then straight away starting to put a plan in place to achieve a goal. And that's my main thing, and that's what makes me really proud about I've written the book, is that people are already starting to put plans in place to kind of attack those goals that they've been putting off for years. So yeah, it's a mixture of helping people goal set and just find that inner confidence and motivation that they can achieve anything they want to achieve if they put their mind to it.
It's such a great title too. And just we know that you have this gym in the UK called CrossFit BFG, but you also offer online training with Team Silverback at silverbackprogramming.com. Can you talk to us a little bit about those programs, and is it just for elite athletes, or can Michael Chapman sign up?
I was just going to say that. You beat me to it.
Yeah, no, anyone can do any of the programs. So CrossFit BFG is a great community. Obviously, the gym's in Leicester. It's a CrossFit specific gym. So we have members who come in who are, majority of the members are people who just want to get in shape and fit for everyday life. I'd probably say 10% of the gym members are people who want to compete and take it very seriously, and they want to train every single day. They want to be the best version they can be, and they want to get to the top in the sport. But the majority of the people are all just coming in just to enjoy a good social workout with their friends and just get as healthy and fit as they can and learn the CrossFit skills along the way. A lot of people within CrossFit gyms, I think they get quite scared about going into a CrossFit gym because they think it's going to be all sorts of people doing ring muscle ups, handstand walks, and you've got to be able to do that stuff to join a gym. Whereas when you actually go to a CrossFit gym and you realize that most of the people are just your everyday Joe who just wants to get fit, then it kind of breaks that kind of mental barrier down of thinking you have to be fit to start a CrossFit gym. So within a CrossFit class, if someone's doing muscle ups, then a scaled option could be ring rows or it could be pull ups. So there's always scalable options within CrossFit that you can do. So it doesn't matter what fitness level you are, you can always join a CrossFit gym. So yeah, it's a great community at BFG, and I love having all the members around me, and it's great training with people who have literally joined up last week and they're training with someone who's been doing it for 7 years. It's just a great sort of balance of having people that are new to the sport and pushing them along, and they're pushing me as well. So yeah, that's a really good community. And then the online programming, I do individual clients, have about 12 individual clients who take it very seriously, and I'll watch their videos 3 or 4 times a week, have regular contact with them, and they're the people who really take it seriously and want to get to the games. And then the Silverback training is probably more for your everyday fitness goer, and we do different packages. But yeah, I'd definitely say it's more just for people who want to get into CrossFit or want to learn CrossFit rather than people who are very experienced in it already.
Awesome.
I have a question. I mean, because there's such a presence of people who kind of want to do their training kind of at home, you know, either in their gym or in their living room. And then there's another contingent of people that really like going to the gym and having that social environment. Do you think that that's like two just different personality types, or do you think that there's something different going on there?
I think you definitely have the people who, some people love training on their own at home, and then some people hate it. And then you've got the same for some people love going to a gym, some people hate it. So I definitely think you've got just two different types of people in that respect. But obviously with all the lockdowns and everything like that, you have found some people who generally just enjoy training at home. And they enjoy the gym as well, but they enjoy the training at home just as much, and it can be more convenient. Right. All they've got to do is walk down to the garage and they can have a training session, then get straight back to work. So I think the lockdown has definitely made more people realize that they can actually do it from home, and they can get their workouts done. But then on the flip side, when the gyms open again in the UK, I think we're in lockdown for so long, people just got used to training at home. And then when they got into the gym, they're like, oh my God, I've missed this so much.
Oh, yeah.
And they didn't realize how much they missed the gym until they got back into it. So yeah, I think definitely people have adapted for training at home, but you definitely have some people who suit training at home more than others. And I'm the person who definitely vibes off people being around me.
Mm-hmm.
Me training at home, I will end up just sitting around for way too long. And yeah, when we're in lockdown, there's the amount of times I'd go down to the gym and I'd have a really hard session planned. And if I was with my usual group, then we'd get it done.
Mm-hmm.
I just found myself not starting the session or just dropping the reps because, yeah, I definitely benefit from being around people when I'm training.
Yeah, the accountability and the community, I get that.
Yeah.
But Zack,
Yeah, 100%.
we are so honored that you
absolutely.
spent time with us. I was dying to meet you. And we want to encourage all of our listeners to go to silverbackprogramming.com. Check out your book, Start Where Others Stop. But before we let you go, we have one last question that I'm going to kick to Michael Chapman.
Yeah, Zach, we do one last question. It's called the fireball. It's a goofball question. And so this might be apparent, but we've been asking people what their favorite animal is. I have maybe a suspicion of what yours might be. Favorite wild animal.
I think you two could probably guess what my favorite animal is.
Silverback.
I'm thinking that was
Silverback. A silverback gorilla. Yeah, that is my favorite animal.
Awesome. You're so great. Well, Zack, thank you so much for spending time with us. It was an honor, sir.
Anytime. Thank you for having me on.
He's everything I dreamed he'd be.
He's got a girlfriend, Patty.
Yeah. But I'm just saying he's charming and smart and
Yes.
engaging.
He is all those things.
I just love talking to him.
You think he has a PlayStation 4 by now?
Doubtful. But we did forget to ask him if he likes A1 steak sauce.
Who doesn't like A1 steak sauce?
That's fair. You're right.
Way better than ketchup.
Well, I think we've established I do not put ketchup on steak.
Mm-hmm. Next time on the Lab Report, Patty calls in from CrossFit Asheville.
Wait, what? What?
Yeah, I signed you up.
Lies. These are lies.
Check your inbox.
You've been listening to the Lab Report. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to our podcast, rate us, and leave us a review. To learn more about Genova Diagnostics, visit our website at gdx.net. There you'll find information on specific testing, educational resources, and how to connect with our show. Call us at 1-800-522-4762 or email us at podcast@gdx.net. Okay, so since you're going to sign up for Zack George's programs, are you going to go to the gym or would you rather do it online? Like, which personality type are you?
Oh, I'm the personality type that's going to do both.
What does that mean?
I'll go to the gym with my computer and then watch Zack George teach me how to work out while I'm there. Just make everyone question my sanity.
You're one of those.